Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Best Friends Club podcast. My name is Charlotte.
And my name is Fizz. Welcome back.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here for episode 3, series 3, double threes.
What? I'm
Double
sorry.
threes. Series 3, episode 3, double three.
Okay. I didn't know we were playing bingo. Don't please. Yeah, episode 3. We have a fun one for you today. I feel like a very iconic video.
A very iconic video, I would have to agree.
Yeah. I remember when I said it last time, we were like, oh no, it's this one. Because
Yeah,
it's
there's some moments in this one that I think will
Mm,
live in fandom history forever.
definitely. But before we get into that, should we do a little catch up? It's not been a while. It's been like a week since we recorded.
Yeah.
Right.
So we've had a few things happen in the 2 weeks since we last
Oh.
made an episode.
Mm-hmm.
Dan and Phil are back on tour. They're in Australia now. They've gone down under.
They have. Uh,
They've had their
their
first show in
props have not.
Brisbane.
Their props and set have not. It's just
Yeah, that was
Denzel.
that was going to be my other note. So for anyone who isn't in the loop in the fandom, they had their first show back in Brisbane and they had no sets for the show. They had no props. They had to borrow props from audience members and they had no costumes either. They had to just wear their normal clothes and improvise. So
except this. Oh, sorry. Oh my God. I was gonna spoilers, but Dan Phil themselves have spoiled this part of the show. If you have their Instagram stuff
yeah,
on,
if you don't want to see the spoiler, just like fast forward 30 seconds.
30 seconds. But like the Sister Daniel and Father Philip costumes they do have, which is very interesting.
That is very interesting because I thought that they would pack their tour costumes like with their normal clothes, but they must pack them with like the tour stuff. But then why was the Sister Daniel outfit and the Father Phil outfit not with the tour?
I,
Were they in their
I,
normal suitcases?
I saw a tweet where someone asked this exact question and someone quoted it with, "I could tell you, but I don't think you're gonna like the answer."
No, I don't I don't think I want to know the answer, thank you.
No, thank you. Anyway, spoiler-free zone. We're back.
Yeah, you can come back now. You can come back. Hi.
Hi. So yes,
Chaotic.
absolute mess. So they've been in Australia. They've been doing a bunch of interviews, some
They
promo
have.
for the shows. Um, a really good one that I think we should talk about. That's very significant.
It was a very good one. They were interviewed by a fan of theirs. I think they've been a fan of them for at least like 10 years. I don't know how deep the person is in the fandom or if they're just a very casual viewer, but they definitely like knew Dan and Phil. Like they
Yes.
got who Dan and Phil were, which I think always makes the interview so much better when
Mm,
they are interviewed by someone who is a fan. Obviously, I think there are like sort of lines with that like you couldn't have a really hardcore fanny interviewing them like for a professional magazine or anything like that, but I think it always just makes the interviews just feel a little bit more like interesting.
interesting. I think the questions are almost always better, and I think they get very comfortable very quickly because there's a video version of this interview and you can just tell they're so relaxed that they don't
Yeah,
have to explain themselves too much, which is great. It's a really fun interview. The interview is very funny. She spent like 2 minutes roasting their Sims videos, which I thought was very brave. um, just to do their face be like, you guys suck at the Sims, because I've heard it a lot. I don't play the Sims, so I enjoy it just for the drama of it, but actual Sim players are like, they're not very good at this game. So
yeah, that is a common theme with their sim videos, that they aren't great.
yes. Other than that, they've done a bunch of TV interviews. I haven't seen entire ones myself. I know they're out there, I just haven't seen them.
No, I haven't had a chance to watch them yet either, but they have done a television interview, I believe.
Mm, mm,
And
that's
then the
fun.
most important update of all, Fizz,
Mm.
Dan has a baby mullet now.
Yes, it's true. The rumors are true. He has a little baby mullet. I
Has a
love
little
it.
baby.
Are you pro mullet?
I'm pro mullet. I love it.
Yeah. It's so cute. I don't like I in some angles you can't really see it though, but when you can see it, it's so cute.
That's what I mean. I think that's why he called it a baby mullet. He's not gone full out. I think he's just sort of kept the length. So yeah, it's not like a full mullet. I think he's just sort of kept it a bit longer at like the front and the fringe and like the back, and
Mm.
he's shaved the sides a tiny bit. Whatever it is, I'm pro mullet. I think it looks really good. Not a huge fan of mullets on
Yes.
other men, but it's Dan, so I love it.
It's Dan. No, but even if it's like the bias out of it, I think it just really suits him weirdly. This specific haircut, I don't know if like another style of mullet would suit him, but this one definitely it works. He feels and looks very confident, which I think adds to it.
I would love for
But
him to
yeah,
fully commit and go like full mullet, like make it a little bit more obvious, like really shave the sides, grow it out quite
whoa,
long at the back.
whoa, that's
I think
crazy.
it's
I
time he had
think
a change. He's had the same hairstyle for like 5 years, 6 years, a long time.
this is true. This is true.
Nearly 10 years
Uh,
probably.
yeah, even longer than I mean, Phil's had more change in his hair than Dan has.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Maybe it's time they both mixed it up.
Fair, fair.
So that's all
Um,
on Dan and Phil updates. Shall we jump into the video and tell the viewers who haven't, the viewers, the listeners, shall we tell the listeners who haven't read the title of the episode? We'll let them know what video we're going to be talking about.
sure. So today we are talking about my Tumblr tag 2 uploaded on Amazing Phil.
Fizz,
So it's
that's
a
not the
sequel.
title of the video.
Is it not with Dan? Sorry,
With
with Dan. He had to.
incorrect.
This is the era where he had to specify who he was doing videos with. I'm so sorry. He had to be like with Dan. I think even the third one says that, which is so funny to me. Because like, girl, who else are you doing these videos with? Alone?
Imagine he's just like pulls off like another YouTuber, like PJ, come be in my Tumblr tag video. You won't be in the Tumblr tag, it'll just be Dan, but I need someone else here.
Seriously, oh my god. I wanted to actually, I didn't put this in my notes, but I just remembered since doing the first Tumblr tag video, I think other YouTubers made it like a trend or a tag of some sort. Like they thought it was a tag style video because I remember Troy and Tyler did the Troiler tag video, if I'm not wrong.
Wow. Phil, he's
And
a trendsetter, Fizz, we know this.
we know this. He's a pioneer. He paved the way for other YouTubers.
YouTube would not be what it
Um,
is without Amazing Phil.
it's true. It's true. Uh, but yeah, this is just a sequel, and it's become a thing. Like they've been more organized with it. Phil has a hashtag for
He
it. It's
does.
fun. Yeah.
So this was uploaded on the 15th of September 2014. And other big news at this time, which Phil does mention right at the beginning of this video, is that the gaming channel is a thing now. I think at this point of upload, they have 2 videos on the gaming channel.
Yes, I think they'd only started it that week,
Yeah,
so they had to immediately get on promoting it on the other channels, on the main channels.
which is crazy. And I love the little bit at the beginning. So Phil does like a little intro where he introduces Dan and Phil Games. And then Dan like pops in as well. And he's like, we've really creatively called the channel Dan and Phil Games. And I'm like, the way they probably just like came up with that, like just sat down, like, oh, let's just call it Dan and Phil Games. I wonder if they had that as like a placeholder name. And they were like, oh, we'll think of a fun
No,
name for it at some point, and they just couldn't be
we
bothered.
know that though. No, we know that though. So in Tapnov,
Yes.
if you remember, they have the screenshot of their little like notes app of the list of names, and there were so many Final Fantasy references in that, if I remember correctly. There was like Gold Saucer, and I can get my tab off, but I'm too lazy. But there's like a whole list of names that they have, and they landed on Downfall Games. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the placeholder, and they
Yes.
were
Oh
like,
my
let's just call it
God.
that.
Imagine we
But they
could
had
be like,
ideas.
right, we're going to pause the recording and I'm going to go and get my copy of Tabanoff and we're going to find out what are the titles we could have had.
I can't hear anything you're saying
I'm miles
because I think
away.
you have headphones.
Yeah,
Mm.
miles away.
Miles away. Your bedroom's huge.
But I actually I live in the house. I didn't know if you knew that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Are you taking care of it for
I'm
them?
squatting. Right, I'll find it and then we can jump back in.
Mm.
God, maybe we should do a whole video about tabbing off and we just read it out
Just
loud.
Abhinav? Wow.
We read it out
Book
loud.
club. Book
Book club.
club episode.
Oh, Best Friends Club book club.
Oh, that's so cute. They need to release, but we'll do one on You'll Get Through This Night as well. I'll finally read it.
Dan and Phil Games.
It's somewhere in the middle.
Oh, here we go. Hello. So I have found my copy of Tabernoff, and I'm going to read through the other titles that we could have had.
Please do.
We could have had Gold Saucer, like you said before, Pixel
Hmm.
Shark, Space Impact, Hyper Beam, Digital Shark, or The Game.
I'm great. They just made us lose the game. Thanks, guys. I don't like any of
No, I
those
hate
names.
all of
Downfall Games
those.
is
They're
Downfall
awful.
Games is so. It's correct.
It
Like
is.
it's right.
I literally can't imagine having the like. It's not related to them at all. Like I feel like it had to be called Dan and Phil Games.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it. A lot of those just sounds like VPN company names, like NordVPN or Surfshark.
It's them desperately trying
You
to come up with like a cool like Twitter username or something like that.
Yes.
Not a
Yeah, yeah,
gaming
yeah.
channel.
Yeah. But I love also I just looked it up. This video has nothing to do with the gaming channel, but I since we're talking about it. They joined so the channel was created on the 2nd of May 2014. So they had it like this entire summer, which I think is very interesting.
That is very interesting, yeah.
But yeah, so they've had the channel. That's not what this video is
No,
about at all.
we're
It's
talking
about
about we're
Tumblr.
talking about the Tumblr tag.
Yes. Yeah, so Phil prepared everyone for this one. He said you have to use the hashtag hey Phil look at this and post anything you wanted in that tag that you wanted them to see. And boy, did everyone show them things.
I'm sure there were lots of things that definitely got cut out of this video that would have
100%.
been tagged.
100%. Yeah.
So I think we
Um
mentioned this in the other Tumblr tag videos that we did, and it's definitely sort of a sentiment that has circled back round to literally recently with the interview that they did the other day. But the fact that they make this video and that they made the other Tumblr tag videos and that they do the Twitter ones, like it's just so like heartwarming and like nice that they engage with their fan in this way.
Yes, I agree. Because I mean, apart from I guess like the nice art, I think they look at it anyway in their off time, off camera.
Mhm.
But I think it's very nice that it's like kind of a check-in with us to be like, hey, what are you guys talking about? And how are you reacting to us? It's kind of I don't know, it feels like a nice check-in. Um but yeah, I completely agree. Like even back then it was super heartwarming where they were like, oh yeah, let's catch up with the audience, the
Uh,
kids.
the kids. And again, I think this is a sentiment that we have repeated many times on this podcast, but
Yes.
they're
Yes.
like the fact that they've nurtured this like lovely like community space and we do have this sort of reciprocal relationship with them and they have this
Mm-hmm.
relationship with us. It's just really nice. I think it's just really adds to their charm and why they are so popular.
100% agreed. The posts right off the bat are so like 2014, like so
Absolutely.
off the
Yeah.
time. Just the gifts and the comic sans and the oh my god. I didn't make it initially, but I took a note of it mentally. The first post that they see is like this edit of Dan's face on a pumpkin, which is okay, whatever. And then it has a bunch of Comic Sans things written around it, and two of those things are one says trick or dick, and the other one says something something penetration. I can't remember, but those are very strange things for them to react to
I'm
at the
gonna be
time, but
honest.
they didn't mention them. They
I
didn't mention them.
I don't think that they read them. I'll be honest with you. I think they just saw the Dan as a pumpkin.
Yeah, fair, 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 fair. Probably. I think they're just shocked by the pumpkin face. But if they had paid attention to it, I'm not sure we would have seen the cut of them reacting to that text
No,
at the
that
time.
would have been cut out immediately.
Immediately.
Following in the vein of them reacting to things, the most iconic part of this video and
Mm.
probably just in fandom history is that too big to
Mhm.
say? They
I don't think so.
they react to some art of them kissing at the radio show. And my big note about this is they're both so like they both first they find it hilarious. They burst out
Mm.
into laughter, and then they're just sort of like really confused. So Dan makes a comment about this that he says the unrealistic part is that they're kissing during a radio show, like a live radio show. And I'm like,
Mm.
oh, so that's the only part that's unrealistic to you about this drawing. That the fact that you'd be
Yes.
kissing during a live radio show, not the other part. That you're
Yes,
kissing.
exactly. I love that the first thing, again, like the first thing that Phil says is like, that's very unprofessional. It's like, oh,
Oh,
that's what you're choosing to focus on?
so
Interesting.
you wouldn't kiss while you're at BBC Radio 1. Interesting. I'm
We
making my
know.
notes. I'm noting that down.
Hmm. I mean, throwback to when they were late for that one Jamila Jamil show and they were like, we got lost because we were looking for candy or chocolate or something. And she was like, there's always sugar involved with you too. And it's like, okay, if that's your story.
But because they're
Yeah.
not unprofessional, they wouldn't do anything untoward while they were at BBC Radio 1.
Of course, no, nothing. They only on camera when
Um,
they're running around on the building while serious news is happening around them.
Honestly,
Uh,
what my other note
mm,
about this is I think considering of the time, like how sort of I mean, obviously the joint brand was really sort of gaining momentum at this point because we've got the gaming channel that's
mm,
just starting. Tabanoff and Tatanoff are going to be announced within the next like sort of 6 months or so. So all eyes are on them really. And I think it was so bold of them to include this in the video.
mm.
And my thought process is this is what I was thinking whilst I was watching this bit. Do not think that they would react to anything like this now because I think it's like too close to home now. Whereas back then, they were so sort of distanced, I think, from like the idea of them being together or like in a romantic relationship. I'm saying all this in air quotes. Like I
Mhm,
think because
mhm.
that was such like a distant thing for them to like acknowledge at the time because they
Right.
were so like bro, he's my buddy kind of vibes. Um
Yeah, and also they were like deep in the closet themselves. Like
exactly.
even like
Yeah,
it would involve
exactly.
outing themselves. So, yeah.
And like I don't think that they would ever react to anything like this now. And I think if they did, it would just be a bit like, oh, okay. Like it would feel more real if they were react to it now.
Yes, I think they would avoid anything particularly shippy, or they would make a massive joke out of it, like the whole wedding ring thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, but so my big note about this is I talk about it on the podcast a lot and in real life a lot, but like 2014 is like when things really shifted for them and the way they presented to us really shifted because everyone talks about like the big bad 2012 times where they pretended not to know each other, which we disagree with. They were doing a lot together, um but in 2014 I feel like they worked a lot closer together, but you could see how they changed and how they acted towards each other on camera. And I think the gaming channel plus working on Tatnov, the merch stuff really contributed to that. And I feel like it before, like how you say like now they wouldn't react to this, I think before they would react very differently to an artwork of them kissing. They'd be like, ugh, that's weird. Why would you say that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get
Um
that. Just going off as well what you
yeah.
said, I suppose, also, I know that the radio show started in like 2013. and we're like now at the end of 2014 in our chronological discussion. But I suppose like before that, they hadn't really like worked together. Like they just lived together and they
Mm.
occasionally like were in each other's videos, or like maybe one of them would assist the other with some editing or like some filming, but they never actually had like a business relationship in the terms of like they did the radio show together, and obviously now the
Mm.
gaming channel has started, and obviously they went and then did like tabbing off and tatting off together. Like they were still, while they were like a YouTube duo, in like the technical
Not
terms of like being work
yes.
colleagues and business partners. And obviously we have the Dan and Phil shop that is just started as well. Like they'd, I suppose their dynamic and their relationship had to change because they'd gone from sort of just being friends who lived together and occasionally filmed a video together to being like actual, oh, like we have businesses together, we have like streams of income that rely on us working together and being business partners
Mm.
and not just being friends.
Yes, yes, I agree. It's like incredibly smart career move by both of them. Um, and also, yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, that's it. Must have shifted like the way they talk about their relationship as well.
Yeah, because I
Um,
suppose now, I mean, I know that at this point the radio show has been going on for a year and a
a
half.
year
That was
and a
another
bit.
note as
Yeah.
well. So they'd stopped the radio show at this point as well, and they'd
Yes,
started the internet takeover show. So Dan and Phil would do one a month, I think, and they got other YouTubers to come in and do the other days of the week, the
other weeks. Yeah.
other weeks of the month.
Of the
Um,
month. I had this note as well. I'd written like because I looked through their tweets and Jack and Dean had just done their episode.
yes,
I
I
think the
saw that
day
as
before
well.
or after. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I
So
suppose like it must have been different to suddenly just go from, oh, like we're friends, we make videos together occasionally, to being like, oh, like now we're earning money together. Like we have businesses together. Like we
now
have,
they're
yeah,
co-workers.
they're co-workers. The gaming channel has started. That's a joint income for them both. It's not like just a separate thing. So I suppose that would have been
Mm,
something they would have had to navigate and sort of work out. And I wonder if I that definitely probably would have put different boundaries in place for like their relationship and how they go from being co-workers to just being like, oh, like we still are friends. And again, I think this is something that everyone says and like a huge testament to them that they have been able to keep up this working relationship
working
and a
relationship
friendship as well for 15 years.
for 15 years. To be fair, it wasn't 15 years. Like the first 5, 6 years were just them fucking around, and
Yeah,
then after that they were like, okay, let's just do this. So I think they spent the first few years trying not to kill each other, and then by the time they got to actually working together, they knew each other sort of like work personas well enough where they're like, okay, let's this is how maybe this can work, which is very fun. Like they live such an ideal
they
life.
really do. They're living the dream.
They really are like once in a million type shit. What else do we have? There's just like a lot of funny gifts and stuff, like the countdown gifts with the cow.
Yeah.
Uh,
One thing I did notice a lot when watching the video and
mhm.
comparing what the fandom did then to what the fandom does now. Just, and I think just sort of internet culture in general. So much of internet culture back in like 2014 was making like photo edits. So a lot of this video is photo edits of Dan and Phil, like the weird one where like it's the spliced
The
one
tongues one.
where they've got like no nose, or then there's another one at
Yeah,
the end where like they someone's made their mouths and like chins really big. And I think it's just
the eye
interesting.
switching. The
The
eye
eye switching
switching
one,
one.
yeah, I think it's just really interesting that a lot of like internet culture back then and like sort of memes, if you want to say it like that, relied on like photo edits. And like I don't think that's just a thing now. Like I'd say majority
Hmm.
of fandom content that I consume now is like funny text posts or sort of like maybe some more video edits and things like that. But I think this era of like photo editing has sort of drifted away. I don't know if you agree.
Hmm. I agree. It's like more gifts and edits, and
Yeah.
it works. It works for the time. They're very funny.
Yeah, some of these like photo edits are so ridiculous. Like I can't imagine like making them now. Like I don't know if they'd have the same impact. I think it's the whole like lol random XD humor that was such a big thing from like 2012 to 2015. I think that's all it is.
Yeah,
And
literally.
we've moved past that now.
Yeah, it's like we're all random law like sleep. Get with it. Um, I love the. I wish. I wish. Where did this come from? The whole "it's gonna be nipples and up" quote. What was that a reaction to?
So that was a Anaconda edit.
Anaconda. Anaconda had it. Oh my god.
So if you haven't
Um,
watched the video before listening to this episode, someone
you
posted
should.
an edit of basically just zoomed in pictures of Phil's crotch to Anaconda by Nicki Minaj, and then
And also dance
and
ass
also
at the
Dan's
end.
ass. And
Yeah.
Phil was so grossed out by this video. He was absolutely horrified. He was like, "Oh my god, this is awful."
He hated the implication that he was a top, I think. He's like, I'm not. Stop these allegations. I don't know where that came from. I'm so sorry. I didn't hear that. That's not even in my notes for anything.
Wow, wow.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, he was so
Oh,
grossed out. The thing is, I think Phil would love this edit now. I think if you showed it to him now or like did a 2024
I know.
version, he'd be like, "Yeah, that's great. Give it to me."
But no, like the reaction to that was literally like, I am not filming below my chest. Which I think is so funny because imagine telling that Dan about Sister Daniel.
Oh my God. Wow. Imagine telling that Phil about Sister Daniel. He would
Oh
absolutely
my,
lose his mind.
his penis would explode as that one tag on Tumblr said. God, his penis just exploded. Have you seen that?
That what? And I don't think so. Oh, yes, no, I have. I have seen
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love saying it because it's true.
One one little bit that they mentioned before um
Hmm.
the Anaconda edit. Dan, I don't know if he picks up on this, but it's definitely something that I noticed. In a lot of their joint videos around this sort of era, 2013 to 2015, Dan had this lovely catchphrase. Like Phil would say something random or he'd do something weird, and Dan
Mm.
would sort of like point to Phil and he'd be like, "Phil Lester, everybody."
Yes, yeah.
And it was like a little
And
catchphrase he had, like, "Oh, this is Phil. Isn't he fun? Isn't he quirky?"
he doesn't do that anymore.
He
It's like he's sort
doesn't.
of like introducing Phil to everyone, but now everyone knows Phil.
Hang on,
He's like,
I have a theory.
okay.
Phil Lester, everybody walked so that this guy, could run.
Yes. Like at this point, you don't have to explain
No,
who this guy
that's
is.
the progression. He went from saying Phil's name to just going this guy. Dan could be in a solo video, and if he sort of like pointed his thumb to the side and said this guy, we'd all know who he was talking about.
Ew. Yeah, you're right, but gross. The we us pronouns strike again.
Maybe that's what we should have called this podcast: the we us pronouns.
Of it all, yeah. Oh, the
Yeah, should have been the title. Forget Best Friends Club.
podcast.
The we us of it all.
That maybe it can be a spin-off or something, like a section that we talk about. Maybe that's what the demon corner should be called.
Okay,
The we us pronouns.
the we us of it all.
But oh my god, the we of us, the we, we'll get used to it. The we us of it all in this video, from the kissing reaction to the Phil's ass, the Fault in Our Stars edit. We'll
Oh
get to
my
it. Oh
god.
my god,
Could this video get any more 2014?
it could not. Like Phil's ass is very prominent in these posts that they're looking at, and I find it very funny
It's because
that they don't
it's
really, they're confused by
yeah.
it. They're like very confused by it, but now they'd be like, yeah, Phil's fat ass.
Plus, he's got a thick
That's
ass. His Shakira
yes,
hips that don't lie.
it's Shakira. Oh my god.
Like, why? Like, the thing I think about, like, the running joke sometimes in the fandom. I'm like, why is Phil's fat ass like a running joke in this? Like, why is that a thing that Dan will bring up a lot and is something that we will also joke about? Like, when did it get to this point?
No clue. Like, I have no idea. But I think it starts in this video.
Maybe this is the start of it
Because,
all.
yeah, we're doing history work. I don't know. But there is this pencil drawing or like a pen drawing. Anyway, it's like hand drawn. Picture of Phil on a unicorn, and they've drawn his, first of all, forget his ass, his back with like the line and the
Mm-hmm.
shoulder blades. Very good. Whoever did this art, well done.
It's very good
But
art.
they're like, yeah, they're like, but why? Like, all eyes go to the butt and everything. And I feel like Dan today would just be like, that's accurate. Like that
Probably.
is what his ass looks like. Yeah, probably. My
And then
God.
we'd have to live with the knowledge that Dan said that for the rest of our lives.
Yes. Even the hypothetical just makes me afraid.
We should always be afraid. You should always be afraid when Dan and Phil do anything.
I know, but and by the way, in real time, while we're recording this, they're probably recording their, or they have recorded their fan Twitter 4 video at this point.
And that is terrifying. That thought fills me with dread.
Mm. Mm. Where is it?
So the next post that they see is this post of this girl who printed off the massive picture of Dan and then wallpapered her room with it.
I saw this and I was like, this is so Charlotte coded.
I remember seeing this, like, not even in this video. I think I'd seen it before because the girl had posted pictures
Mm.
of it, like, online or on Twitter or something. I
Mm.
lost my
Same.
mind. I was like, well, when am I going to get a Dan room? Like, when can I cover my room with pictures of his face, please?
Don't you have the big poster of him?
I do, but I
The
don't. I don't have that on my wall. Did you think that
maybe
you thought I
you
had
live
that?
live. I would not the one that she has. Don't you have like the magazine poster of
Yeah.
him?
Do you really think that I have a poster from like 2012 of Dan like on my wall?
Yes.
No,
Why not?
because it's an awful picture.
Fair enough. I was like, yeah, of course she does because she loves Dan.
I have other pictures of him. I have my old Dan and
Okay.
Phil poster, so I think it's like the very first ones they released. There's like an art drawing of them that's signed that my best friend got me for Christmas one year.
That is a flex. Whatever, like, that is 100% a flex. Rob
Mm.
list.
I have a little photo frame filled with all my We're All Doomed memories, which is cute. And then
Cute.
I have pictures of them when I met them during II. Like, it's a 3-frame thing. Um,
Oh,
so it's a picture of me and Dan, and then this postcard that I got them to sign, and then a picture of me and Phil. And we're gonna get updated ones next year. Boop, boop.
in a month. How
Why would you
fun.
say a month? Oh my, no, I'm saying
I'm
next. I'm saying
sorry.
next year because that feels far
Next year.
away.
Next year.
Don't tell her. Don't
My
say a
bad.
month.
Next year.
That makes it sound closer.
Sorry. Sorry.
But yeah, I would like.
Dan Beard.
I want to know Dan Beard. Oh my god, yes! What a segue. Love the Dan Beard.
You like the edit though?
It's an.
This was when the beard edits were huge.
I remember this one as well. I remember. I think I must have this like
Mm,
saved on my laptop or something because I remember this
same.
going round
Same.
because it was big. Because I was like, oh, interesting. Dan with a beard. Hmm. Yeah,
Hmm.
I think I like this.
Hmm. Interesting. No, but I love that they were kind of just like, what the fuck?
And Phil was like, oh, it does look sort of real. And he was like, yeah, it does. It does look a bit real.
It does. We've seen that with Scruff now.
We
He still
have.
hasn't given us beard.
And I don't think we ever will. I don't think he's ever going to grow enough facial hair to get like full beard and mustache, which is a little bit upsetting.
Oh, give him time. Let him turn like 50. Maybe we'll get
Okay.
it.
So there was a bit before the Dan Beard one where it was a photo of it was from Dan's college dropout video, and it's the screenshot of Dan sat in front of the oven and then Phil like sort of consoling him.
Oh yeah.
But in this edit, Phil is like faded out. Um, and then they make this comment, and Phil is like, whenever I read fanfic, why am I always dead?
I know. I'm
And
like,
I
what are
was
you
like,
doing in our house? Get out.
get out. Why are you reading fanfic about yourself? That's weird.
And the joke is still continued. I find that very fun that the bit
Yeah.
has stayed.
That Phil is always dead.
Yeah, I personally have not read which is this is funny. Apart from The Urge, I've never read a fic where Phil has died. Never.
Do you know what? I think I read. Oh no, I think that was an amnesia one. I think Dan got amnesia or Phil got
Okay.
amnesia. I can't remember. Maybe it was Phil. Yeah,
Mm.
I think it was Phil that got amnesia. But no, I've never read one where one of them has died.
Link, please. After the pod,
I was
thanks.
that was
It was
that was
years
a
ago,
long.
I'm guessing.
That was years and years ago. I don't even know if it was on A3 or if it was on like something else.
Tumblr.
Just the Tumblr one. Yeah. My God.
Yeah. Oh my god. Um.
But yeah, why is Phil always dying? I mean, it makes sense because he's a sickly man, so he's probably got more of a tendency to die.
He's just older, so he has to die first.
My theory is, and I don't know if you will agree with me, my
Mm.
theory why people always wrote that it was Phil that died in the fanfics was because I think like back then there was this sort of like rose tinted glasses on how they met and then how they became friends that like Phil saved Dan in a
Oh.
sense. And so people like writing like, oh, like what if Dan didn't have Phil anymore? Like what if he didn't have this person who saved him and, brought him all this happiness, etc., etc. That's my theory anyway, as to why Phil was always the one that was killed.
My theory is completely different.
Oh, go on.
So my theory is that I find that very interesting. But mine is that I think it was easier to write Dan as a sad boy in air
Yeah, no,
quotes.
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
So it's just easier to write him crying over Phil than it would have been to do it the other way around.
Yeah.
Mm,
But that was the thing back then. People didn't write fics from like Phil's point of view. It was all Dan
it was
because
all Dan,
we
yeah.
didn't know anything about Phil. We knew his favorite color, and that was about it. And you can't write a 2,500 million word fic when you don't know anything about Phil.
It's true. Whereas Dan was just telling us anything. He was like, "Yeah, I was depressed. He never. So he didn't reveal that he had depression until later, obviously. But if you were a depressed emo teenager, you knew. You were like, I recognize you. The thing about Dan is he's very relatable, right? And he had that brand. He was like, yeah, I do this,
Yeah,
I'm awkward. And he would tell us deeply personal stories every day, every week. So I guess it was easier to project on him than
yeah,
it
oh,
was on
definitely.
Phil. Which is, I mean, what can you do? So Phil had to die,
Phil
essentially,
had
for the plot.
for the plot. It was just a plot device.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I can't really talk about your emotions, so rip,
Bye.
I guess. Bye. Poor
Um,
Phil.
poor Phil. Poor Phil. We then get a lovely edit that someone did of Dan as Christopher Robin, and it's a little Winnie the Pooh pressing the subscribe button. Dan says the phrase "Stop giving me feels." So if you weren't sure what year we were in before, you were definitely sure now because Dan said the phrase "Stop giving me feels."
Yeah,
Maybe we
yeah.
should bring that back.
Subgiving feels. Yeah,
Me,
and you
the
have to spell
feels.
it with a Z. You have to say
Oh,
feels.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Oh, I can't even.
I, I still say things like I can't even. Like I say like I can't. Like stop. I don't say I can't even, but I think that has stood the test of time. Maybe with
Yeah,
older
I agree.
millennials. Yeah,
I agree. But yeah, that is a really cute little edit.
it
Um,
is.
and you can tell that Dan is literally like welling
He's
up
like
over it
actually,
because
yeah, yeah. He's like actually affected by it.
poor sweet boy.
Hmm. Um. My next one, I don't know if there's any more interesting ones between those, but there is like a picture or gif of PewDiePie.
There was, yeah.
Yeah.
He's
And
there.
he is there for sure. And Dan says, I didn't come here to be aroused. Soft launch. Just saying.
Soft launch. That's our soft
He-
launch moment for today's episode. We can tick it off. Tick tick.
Tick tick. Um
But the
yeah,
thing
like
is
we're
that you
wild.
say that would have been in basically I'm gay. He does the whole thing. He's like, oh, I wasn't exactly subtle about it, was I? And he does like little
Hmm.
flashback of loads of different clips where he's talked about his like sexuality, where he's been vaguely open about it. So yeah, it is a soft launch. Like,
It is 100%, yeah. I think this is the point where he was kind of like thinking about it a lot more.
mhm.
Mm. Which is fun. Good for
It is
Dan.
fun. We get a lovely fun edit of them. Another photo edit. That's all this video is.
Yes.
Someone had photoshopped their heads onto these like two topless men with like big abs, and they're
Hmm.
like, "Oh, this is so weird. Like, why would you just post this picture of us? Like, where did you get that photo?" And I'm like, "Boys, that you wish that you looked like that. You wished you had a six pack and abs."
But like evergreen joke, again, they would make the same joke now if they haven't. I can't remember if they have, but 100% they're seeing men with abs and they're like, that's just us. That's what we look like.
I mean, again, spoiler. We can edit this out, but like again, so many spoilers in this episode. We do apologise. If you do not want to be spoiled for Tit, please skip ahead 30 seconds and you will avoid all the spoilers. This is your final warning. If you get spoiled, you only have yourself to blame. That is in Tit as well. Like, Phil has that
Yes.
top on, doesn't he?
Yes. We I can't talk about it. Oh my god.
Do you have some thoughts about that, Fizz?
No, I'm upset that we don't actually see him shirtless. That's all. I respect it. I'm like, that's very funny,
He
obviously.
he does it because he knows that if he were topless, Dan wouldn't be able to control himself.
Oh my god, yeah. It's like bad enough that we have to see Phil with Sister Daniel, but oh my god.
That's pretty much the Tiffy Australia. We'll talk about that.
Yes. Whoa, 2014. Bam.
Is it 2014? Are you sure? I didn't know. I couldn't tell from this video.
Could not. No. I love that they couldn't get through it. They were like, also Phil plays Augustus, who also dies.
He
Spoiler.
does. He does die because Phil always dies.
um, I like that they just couldn't get through that video. They were like, no, no.
I think Phil would have carried on watching, but Dan noped out. Dan was like, nope, turn it off.
Yeah, but I think it's too close to like a fic, which is probably
Yeah.
why.
And then that's pretty much the end of the video. I didn't make any other notes. That was it.
Hair chalk. My last one is just the hair
Oh,
chalk.
hair chalk. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. I mean, there's
Excellent.
not a lot to that, but the dance selfie with the hair chalk, I think it's very iconic.
I remember him doing that because he did it in a live show, didn't he? I remember him doing
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
What a time. Bring back
What
live
a time.
shows, please.
Please, especially dance. Like, I need to know his opinions on things. Please, please. Can you imagine if Dan did like live shows when Euphoria was happening? Like, he would be on there talking shit about the show.
I just love maybe like a monthly live show or something, or like bi-monthly. I don't know if they'll keep up. I mean, they won't be able to next year because they're on tour, especially for
Hmm.
Phil's. But I would love it if they did make like the birthday streams a thing. Like if they did,
Yeah.
because that's sort of like you get one at the beginning and then one halfway through the year. So they're sort of like every 6 months. So that'd be cool if they
If
did
they
that
did
as
it.
a
But
thing.
yeah, but we know like they're doing a show on Phil's birthday, but
They are.
100% I agree.
So I will get my own live Phil birthday stream because I will be there, but the world won't.
I'm so jealous. That's the one show I wanted to be at though. Like I'm really happy for you, but I'm so jealous. Um please I'm gonna like send a vibe. Be like, I'm here in
Thank you.
spirit.
You will be there in spirit. I'm gonna wear some party hats, I think.
Oh my god, yes, please. That'd be so cute. Oh my god, that's so cute. That's a good idea.
I think that is a plan that someone had. So We'll
Mm,
see. I would like to
we'll
take
see.
party hats anyway.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cute. But the video isn't. Sorry, just to get back, like the video isn't that long. It's like 7 and a bit minutes long. Um, and most of it is photo edits that aren't that significant. So
Yeah. Can you imagine if we got a 7-minute video now? I feel like they spend the first 7 minutes of a video just talking shit before they've even
yes,
done the video.
I know. They're very bad. I that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, how much did they cut off before, or did they just not film for as long as they did?
Maybe. Because, like, it can't have all been, like, stuff they had to censor out. Like, there must have been lots of other good edits and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. I bet like if we looked at the tag now, there'd still be like like just like fossils from
Oh
2014.
my god, yeah, we should have done that. That would have been really fun.
I can open a tab and do it now.
Okay.
Let's see. Hey Phil, look at this. Now it's just now what do? They just look at the Dan Phil tag when they're talking
Yeah,
about it.
people tag them in stuff on Downhill Games on
But
Twitter
they
for them to
oh
look at.
hey, someone has tagged Hey Phil, look at this on like in February of this year, like their art.
Crazy.
Whoa.
I
And like
don't think he's
20,
going to be looking at that.
yeah, I don't think so either. There's a $90 cardboard cutout of Dan, apparently. Oh, I guess the people are just using as this is just like a tag. They don't
Hmm.
really want Phil to look at it. Interesting.
So I've just had a quick look at the comments on the video as well, and literally all of the comments are people being like, the quote of, whenever I read fan fiction, I'm always dead. And everyone's like, what? Did Phil Lester just admit he reads fanfic?
Do you think he like he was just like in the fan tag like yeah I'm reading fanfic, or was he just
Did it just pop
like
up?
when maybe he just came across it because people didn't know how to tag things separately, like things just ended up in the Amazing Phil tag.
Most definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they read fanfic now? This is a debate that I think we had. Um, I had to with some
Have
friends like
we?
earlier this week.
Okay. What is your opinion?
I oh, because it was in the interview, wasn't it? Because that they did. Dan talked about how like prolific some of the fic writers are, and
Yes,
basically
yes,
that they
yes.
should be like novels. And I'm like, well, how do you know that? Like, are you reading it? I don't think that they are. I think that they have taken a very healthy step back and are not involving themselves with that. And I think Dan just said that because he wanted to sound a bit cool and like he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, no, fair. Same. I think the only way they could have come across it is if tweets ended up on their For You tabs. That's the only way, and I don't think they're engaging. Just
No,
maybe they're looking at like notes and stuff, like people talking about fic, and they're like, oh, I guess we have very talented writers, but I don't think they're directly using their free time to read fic at all.
absolutely not. That would be so weird.
It would.
I don't think I'd want to read fic about myself, so I can't imagine that they would want to.
Not for my own enjoyment, but out of curiosity, I would. There's a lot of debate about like real person fiction, which we can get into at any other point if you want. But I personally would not be offended if people wrote fic about me. I'd be like, just get my characterization right.
I think that
Yeah,
would be the only reason Dan would read it, to make sure that he was characterized correctly.
exactly. Um, exactly. I think like sorry to be a narcissist, but I'd be like, are you shipping me with the right people? Are you shipping with me with people I hate? Are you like what's going on, like who's the rare pair, who's the like am I always dying, like
Yeah,
that's the only time I'd be curious about it, but I wouldn't sit and read my own fic.
no, I wouldn't sit and read it. I'd maybe like delve into the tags and see
Mm,
sort of what the vibe is, but I don't think I would actually read it.
yeah, because it's such a fun part of the community, and I'm not
Yeah.
just saying that because I'm part of it. It's just storytelling. It's where I don't know, it's a fun creative way to make other people crazy. As a writer, I love it.
So that is the
Hmm.
video. Shall we
Hmm.
do some video ratings?
Yes.
Fizz.
Shot.
How many
I'm so excited.
bear with- how many anacondas out of 10? No, sorry. How many phanacondas out of 10
Hmm.
would you
Get
give
it
this
right.
video?
I have given this video 7 Fanacondas out of 10. I think it's good. I think it's fun. It's very rewatchable. Um, it maybe 7 is a bit too high, but I don't like hate it. I really laughed at the entire thing. I love it.
Hmm.
How many Fanacondas out of 10 would you give it?
Weirdly enough, I gave it 7.5 out of 10.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. Like
Because
it's
again,
fair.
like you, it is a fun video. Like, it's fun seeing them engage with the community, but I feel like maybe the tag was just like really dry, but I feel like there definitely could have been some more spice and a bit more like some more exciting things for them to look at.
Yes. Yeah.
And I say that and they reacted to art of them kissing, so I don't know how much more spicy we can get.
We know. I mean, I know that the next one has something quite spicy. Um, derogatory.
Yes.
Like I'm quite. There is one bit where I'm like, we'll get there next year.
Yes.
It's in 2015. That's why I said next year.
And then let's do some quick outfit ratings, as is
Yes,
customary on the Best Friends Club podcast.
yes,
Dan is
yes.
wearing his Yeezy, whatever it is, tour t-shirt. Now, I know
Yeah,
that it is Kanye West, but I think it's an excellent t-shirt and Dan looks great in it. So I'm giving it an 8.
that's what I did. I gave it an 8, and I said 2 out of 10 for the T-shirt. I think it's a good design, but it is Kanye West, so I'm like
Yeah.
whatever. But 8 out of 10. It's a very good T-shirt. I loved
Yeah.
it whenever he wore it.
I agree. And then Phil is wearing the coziest, loveliest little bright blue pug jumper, which is so cute. And I'm gonna give that obviously a 10 out of 10 because
Ten
it's a
out of 10.
fantastic jumper.
Yeah, no questions asked. I love the black and blue branding that has just come up unintentionally
Hmm.
as well.
Yeah,
Uh, and just their personalities as well. Like, of course, Dan's wearing like a concert T-shirt or merch, and Phil's wearing Pugs Not Drugs. It's
it's such
just,
a cute jumper. He should have worn it more.
I know. I hope he still has it. I don't know if he's thrown it away or not, but we haven't
He
seen it for
looks,
years.
we haven't, no. He looks really cute in sweatshirts though, like especially because it's like a big oversized one. He just looks extra cozy.
Yes, I would love to know where he got it. I don't think. I mean, your fan outfits career is still 2 years away in this timeline, so I don't know if you know where it's from.
I think I think it was posted. Oh, it's an
Oh,
artist, so I presume. I think it was maybe Urban Outfitters. I've just done a quick Google
perhaps.
search. It was done by this artist, who I recognise the name of. She did lots of other things. But yeah.
Oh,
So that is the video. That was a fun one.
it was. Um, shall we? I mean, we have to decide. So the next episode for us, we know which one it'll be, but I kind of want to keep it a surprise because
So
it's. Yeah, I think so. We'll see you very soon.
we'll
But
see you
for
very
me,
soon with another episode. We're going to keep it a
yeah,
surprise because we haven't fully decided and worked out our timelines yet. So we don't want to say it's going to be. We don't want to have a repeat of what happened before, where we kept saying
yeah,
the next episode will be this video, we promise, and then
yeah.
it wasn't. So
It
we're going to
wasn't.
keep it under wraps. But I mean, if you're following along with the timeline chronologically, you could
You
maybe have a
know,
guess at what's going to come up.
you can. Yeah, you won't know, but you can definitely guess what will be coming up.
Um,
I personally am very excited for it.
Me too.
If we're gonna do that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, sorry.
Well, thank you everybody for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you all so much for the support. We had our Spotify Wrapped come out this week, which is also
Yes.
exciting. There are 31 people in the entire world, which doesn't sound like a lot, but 31 people in the entire world, considering I think we have around 220 followers on Spotify. 31 of you had
That's
us as like your top podcasts, which is
which
crazy.
which is so crazy, which is so nice. Like,
Thank
thank
you
you
for
for
listening. Like, thank you so much.
yeah,
Even
like
more embarrassingly is that me and Fizz both had this podcast in our top podcasts on Spotify.
Hey, we make good content here.
We do. And look, maybe it's a little bit narcissistic, but I do like listening to my own voice.
This is why Charlotte edits most of the episodes. I'm kidding.
Well, that's the thing. I will edit an episode, so I'll have to listen to it, but then I
Hmm.
will still go back and I'll just listen to it on Spotify as well.
I know, no, I completely understand. Like, because I'm the same. One of my friends listens to the podcast, so whenever she's doing her commentary on it, I go back and I'm like, I don't remember I said that, and then I listen to it, and I'm like, wow, we are so smart.
Nice. So yeah, thank you everybody who has. I mean, we're gonna have one more episode out before the end of the year, but yeah, just thank you everybody for listening and following and subscribing and engaging with the podcast. That means a
For
lot.
another year, thank you. We're on our like we're gonna go into our third year next year. That's
Which is
crazy.
crazy.
Or
That is
second year.
crazy.
Yeah.
Second year, yeah.
Whoa. Oh my god. That's
Yes, thank
insane.
you all for listening, and we will see
Thank
you
you.
next time.
Bye.
Bye bye.